Fathom Gen 2. This is a 60N, and I just want to show you something about this handle here. You see how big that port opening is, and let's line it up right here next to the drag cam dial, and just with a little bit of force. See how much movement there was? So taking a look at this one, I already noticed that the stem tilted upward right here, and I think pressure pulling up somewhere along the way may have just kind of permanently bent it. Notice the spacing on the bottom of the stem sleeve versus the top where it's no gap, so that kind of shows you where it's bent upwards. It's a good reel. There's just some parts to this that are not up to what we want, and the question is, how do we get it there? So we know that this arm, it's not going to be able to handle what you're going to play with the 60N for. So I can get that sleeve out of there. This same spacer is, let's measure the measurements of it. This is the Gen 2, 4 mil. This is the Gen 1, 4 mil. So they're both identical. This is the VISX factory on the left, 6 mil for some odd reason, and the one that I made, which is like 5.1-ish. Here's what I think. This is a VISX 20 handle that I took off from my 16, and I think this is what you need. The button is just a hair smaller. Do you see it doesn't line up? So close. So close. This is a knob from the Gen 2. This is a knob from the VIS 16. Bigger diameter, I can see it already. 17 millimeter on the Fathom. Looks like almost 18.5 on the VISX. To the tip, that is a identical length of the shaft. It's 4 millimeter. That's 4 millimeter. Would that work, right? So as of right now, what I want to do is, you saw the bend on it. If I put this on, I could use everything factory. Everything's close, but it touches essentially on this part because of the bend. This is a Fathom 1, so we're not going to use that. But remember the squall? Straight bar across. Pretty big handle, and because it's solid, no holes, no drillings on the actual bar itself, I believe that this is much more stronger. What I'll need to do is take the squall. The squall is not being used at the moment. I'm going to drill these two in opposite directions. We could use these from the VISX, and I'm just looking at how this is almost perpendicular, top to bottom, just a little bit of like a angle, and then that one is really angled. It's like as if it's pointing at 11 and 5 o'clock. This is like 11:30 and 5:30 right here.
5 months later.
Okay, so we know about the Fathom 60N, the LD2. You know the handle. I actually used this one off of VISW, and I couldn't get to fit perfectly, so I took all the low speed, the 2-speed components from my Fathom 2-speed gear, and I moved this over, and I was intending to use it over this past weekend. I was on a trip on the Polaris Supreme. Couldn't get anything, so I didn't get to put this to use. So what we're going to do right now, my parts came from Penn. These are correction tools to alleviate the problem with the free spool issue. So on free spool, at your correct drag, there's no more free spool. So right now, with the correct strike settings that I have on my drag, this is my free spool, all the way locked onto free. And you can see that's as much drag. It's still on free spool, and I'm going to show you right now. So what's happening is there's so much pressure on this drag cam that it's actually forcing the drag washer and the disc to still touch. So there's like little play. If I put it really close, it's just ever so slightly grazing upon it. So what this does is there's a shim against it, and then this just spaces it a little bit more. And then to correct the pressure, they gave us these heavy washer spring, and then this contoured ever so slightly, so it'll help to push it away. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna install these parts. They shipped it over free. So right now, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, not even 4. So let's take all this apart. So this should get it all the way off. Yes. So the cool thing about this, super big drag plate, really big diameter. So check this out, 40 yen, 60 yen. There is a noticeable diameter difference for sure on this. And even though this is bigger, there is much more surface area of the actual drag material on the 40 yen. However, the 40 yen isn't utilizing all of it. And the reason why is because it's beveled on the inside of this disc. So it's only using the outer edge, which is about the similar width of this. It looks like there's more, but this one still has 10 pounds of more drag. And if you look at this, this is even throughout all the way on this plate. You can get a washer that would cover this entire thing. I don't know how safe that is to use it, but you could. It's a possibility. But you can't get any more out of this unless you grind this to a smooth surface, a flat surface all the way through to utilize all of that. So that means this you could, if you're able to mill this. But this one, all you need is a entire drag washer onto this. Pretty cool. Beefy, beefy, beefy. Lower low gear, right, on this one? Still a decent high gear, but lower low gear versus the original. Can you tell the diameter differences on the low gear and the high gear? They honestly look very identical in the components wise. Like, my curiosity is, could I swap everything over and it'll be good? Wow. You're not gonna believe it. Only way to show you is to show you. So this is my 40 yen, right? And I'm still gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna keep it. We are really getting sidetracked right here because I was supposed to do a simple install or swap over for you guys, but now I'm looking at something else. This is a pinion gear. Check out the pinion gear on the 60. That is one beefed up pinion gear. They're all whoa, I got it. Whoa. You're not going to believe this either. On top of this, wow. Okay, this is amazing to me right now. If you could see it, they're very straight in their cuts. Very straight. Pinion, main gears, very straight. And if you look closely at this, there is a helical angle to these, which means stronger gears are ready on top of the bigger size of everything. Hey man, that's not exactly what I saw on the 25. Because this is a whole new size for them. So helical cut gears. Still stainless steel for sure on this one. So under the clicker side of the spool, if you take off the clicker plate, this plastic piece right here, you can find a bunch of washers and almost like a thrust bearing on under it. Keeping all that intact, you're also going to find 2 of these beveled washers, kind of how you would find on a star drag. And what you're going to do is you're going to replace it with these, and this is the part number right here. So they call these heavy spring washers. Ever so slightly thicker. These 2 on the right side is similar in thickness to a single one on the left side. So between the two heavy spring washers, you're going to put these two little shims inside. Take it out from the original one. They're going to be between them, right inside of these two, the steel ones. And when you remove them, just place them in between here and place it on top of the thrust bearing stack here. And put everything back together on this side. On the main side, under this bearing, you're going to find a single shim. What you're going to do is use the two additional provided shims. So it's now 3 shims all together stacked. And we're going to place it inside. And the bearing inside of it. This is the part number for it. It says shim 0.008 of a depth thickness on this. And here's your part number.
Several months later.
So this is a current update on the Fathom 60. Check this out. This is how we're going to make it topless. Penn always comes through, man. They're really good people. And that's why I'm actually a big Penn owner. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to remove these two right here. But the reason is because we got this part number here. Harness lugs right here for the Fathom 60nld2. So real easy. We're going to remove the screw. But it may not. Oh. So the question is, what screw would he use? But look at that. They're harness plugs. These screws, they're actually my spare screws that I have. That I got a couple of them because I busted 2 already. And they are for the 2-speed mechanism right here. And the reason why it's busted is because, you know, the Fathom handle, it's a little bit more weak at this spot right here. I'm trying to do this, it's a Squall VSW, and I drilled these already, and I'm trying to get it threaded, and I couldn't find the right thread at the local hardware store. So, you know, me being a real genius, already busted 2 of them. Well, that oddly worked out. I ended up using the 2 screws that were the broken ones from the handle side. Got myself a topless 60N. Check out that free spool. This is with their updated, it's the heavy duty spring washers on the left side, and then a couple of stacks of thin shims on the bearing side right here.
2 weeks later.
This is 256 threading. That's what I'm tapping it for. 256 is a screw that will be used on the International VASX. The Fathom, the factory Fathom one, it's a little bit different. I couldn't find the exact number on it. I tried the number 1 size. It could be metric. I'm not really sure, but number 1 didn't work. So just to show you, I bought these partner numbers from Ace Hardware. They're Hillman screws or fasteners, 3727A. I got 4 of them. They're 43 cents each. This R was a washer, which is not necessary. And then I bought on Amazon a 256 tapping thread or tapping tool. All right, so here we are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put back, see if I can remember the orientation, the spring first, followed by your 4mm factory spacer. That was a headache that got us on the VSW. This is the cap cover. Now, here's the locking screw. Trusty old crescent wrench. Perfect. I gotta put this cover. This is what locks it in place. So the screw the lip of it will hold down this cap. And that was a problem I was having. I couldn't get it to fit in. Let's see if it all works. Ooh. Oh, we know that shoots back. Oh man. Thank goodness. Oh. All right. Low gear. Man. That's some low right there. 1.6 and then high is 5.1. Oh man. This is gonna be fun. Here it is, guys. All right. 60nld2. Factory push button shift lever with a Squall VSW handle. Full solid, no drill out on the bar itself. It's a straight line, doesn't have the bend, so you are getting it a little bit further, you know, that concave groove. But I'll tell you something. Here's the length of the handle, right? Take a look at this with this handle here. If I was to place this over here, you're still further out on where you would handle it and hold it by 1/4 inch. This is a VISX 20. It's a little bit more narrow on the spool width on the 60, but the diameters are very similar. So this is a difference between a medium frame and a heavy duty frame. This thing is just beef out of the box, right? Oh, lots of milling and overall structure to hold it. So none of the components are shifting around. There's no flex, anything like that we would want to ever have. Just full C-on-C everything. And diameters between the two. So you know what they look like.
Now starting to come back under the boat. 360 feet.
Thanks for watching this video. I purchased this reel November of 2022, which was a few months after its September release, knowing there was some things I wanted to mod. First was resolving the early batches of poor freespool, which Penn has since fixed on all current batches for 2023. Additionally was upgrading the factory handle with another one that is much more stronger for how we'll apply the reel, jigging for tuna. We also saw how the internals compared to the 40N. The helical cuts, man, that was a nice surprise. I got to use the reel on 2 trips, one in May of 2023 with no luck, and one in July that was a short bite and another lost from a wild tangle. So I don't have a video of how it'll handle, but after seeing it next to the VISX 20, I'm confident this reel is a perfect intro reel for anglers starting into the game and not wanting to break the bank. If you got the funds though, the VISX models are just amazing in build quality. Hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, and out of curiosity, what reel are you guys using and what's the biggest you landed on it? Thanks guys. What I need to do next is I need to match essentially thread. Where is it at now? There's way too many handles everywhere. Here it is. It was right in front of my face. My goodness. Look, I got a handle right here. I got the 12/16 over here. I got an egg knob over here. I got just the handle knob over here. I got the one that I converted over here. Sorry, I'm just looking around at a bunch of arms.